Well, for the past 25 years, director Peyton Reed has made some of the biggest films in Hollywood, but it was his debut film, a box office smash hit that had audiences cheering.
Hate us 'cause we're beautiful. Well, we don't like you either. We're cheerleaders. We are cheerleaders, bro.
Released in the year 2000, Bring It On is a bona fide cult classic.
It's not a democracy, it's a cheerocracy. I'm sorry, but I'm overruling you.
Peyton Reed then went on to become the king of comedies.
Miss Novak, I am so sorry. The darndest thing.
You have to say yes to everything.
Yes.
Do you need a ride?
On that thing?
Working with Hollywood's biggest stars,
You just said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
then Marvel came a-knocking.
Are you ready to become a hero?
Reed directing Paul Rudd in Ant-Man and its sequel.
She seems more intense.
Joining us now in studio, with us on the couch, is director Peyton Reed. Peyton, it's so great to see
have
you.
you here.
It's a delight to be here. I was here last time we were in the middle of all this Ant-Man mania.
Yeah,
David, you were there.
I was there with
It was
you,
Quantum Mania.
And
It was
speaking
fantastic.
of, we just had crossover with our previous guest, Walton Goggins, who you worked
Goggins
with
is
on Ant-Man.
here. Yeah, I love Walton. We go back a ways. We were neighbors in Laurel Canyon back in the 90s. He, of course, was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second Ant-Man movie. And then I produced the show he was in, The Unicorn, that ran for a couple of seasons. And he's just the best. I had no idea he was here.
It was so wild to have like you all like crossing over.
It was a tearful reunion, right?
It was
Kind
really,
of
we
like
could
just
feel it.
another day in LA.
Yeah, but here we are in
are,
Sydney.
yeah.
But you're here for the 25th anniversary of Bring It On. You're here for Brisbane Festival, right?
Yes.
And this has got such a huge fan base, a huge following, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Tell us about what you're doing at the festival, first of all.
Well, it's incredible because I got an email from Sophie Matheson, who is the director of the film festival, and she had this great idea to sort of eventize the movie. So it's going to be playing there, you know, on this wharf, this like football field size place, and I think there are cheerleaders there. It's going to be a big thing, and I love the idea of just, you know, it's gratifying for people to even think about the movie 25 years later, but to be doing sort of this celebration for the anniversary was fantastic. So Sophie emailed and said, here's what I'm thinking. I said, absolutely, I would not miss this.
For those of us who were still in high school when this was released, it's not just being still mentioned by us, it is imprinted on our brains, Peyton. It is a part of our teenage formative years. How often do people come up to you and say, this was such a big part of my life?
People will come up and sort of do the cheers on occasion.
Yeah.
People will talk about this was a first date movie. I was talking to Ryan Coogler, you know, who directed Black Panther movies and Sinners. And Ryan's first date with his wife was to Bring It On. And I think they were like, you know, 13 and 14 or something.
Wow.
But like, yeah, it's crazy that it still has this life.
But the cheers are now all over TikTok. You know, and I think it sort of re-kicked in the sort of the cheer world that we're back into now, made it sort of more global. I know it was a very American culture, but this took it worldwide. Now we have, you know, reality shows based on this.
Right.
But take us back to the inception of the movie itself and when you want to, you know, direct it.
I've been doing a lot of television work and comedy and music videos and things, and I got this script that was called Cheer Fever at the time. And my agent called and said, well, I got this thing. It's a cheerleader comedy. And I was like, wait, what? And I read it, and I loved it. I love the attitude of it. I love that it made a case for cheerleading as a sport, and it mined this sort of subculture, this high school subculture that I really didn't know anything about. And Jessica Mendinger, who wrote it, like the sense of humor was just fantastic.
This scene is the one that, you know, the brr, it's cold in here. What was the key to getting that right as a director?
Well, we knew sort of there was going to be a very different performance by the Clovers as there were for the Toros and how they presented this. And, you know, that's the part of the script that I really liked that talked about sort of cultural appropriation and all these things. And it's amazing, Gabrielle Union has really kept that alive on her Instagram feed. You know, she would post all these kids and every Halloween, people dress up like the Clovers. But it was, it had to feel like a musical. This whole thing had to feel, we went and watched all these old Busby Berkeley musicals, you know, from the 30s and 40s. And you know, we just wanted the whole movie to have a rhythm, right? It really had to have a groove to it.
You mentioned Walton being in the second Ant-Man film as well. That trilogy of films is so loved by, you know, the Marvel Universe and nerds out there. Tell us about working with Paul and the team on that, because it was it was the first time they really sort of lent into the sort of improv we felt as fans.
Yeah. Well, Rudd is another person I've known for some time, and I loved the idea of doing Ant-Man. Of all the Marvel heroes, to me, I was in a band in the 80s playing drums, and I drew the flyers for the band, and I did one that was a ripoff of Avengers #1.
Love it.
And I was Ant-Man in that flyer that I drew. This is years before. And so it almost felt like this weird destiny to become the Ant-Man person. But I like the idea that it was comedic, and it had fun with the idea that he doesn't have any superpowers. It's all about the suit, and he's kind of caught up in these, big events that are beyond his, his imagination in some ways. I love it, and Rudd's the perfect guy to play Ant-Man.
Can you confirm that he is in fact aging in reverse, Paul Rudd?
Paul is in this amazing cryogenic stasis. I don't know how he does it. Like, it's really incredible. And also, like, it's not just his incredible good looks, but his sense of humor and his sharpness. He's such a present actor and a person, and I think that's one of the reasons he's so young. He's young at heart.
Yeah, well, you gotta laugh at these things. But another rom-com that everyone just loves is Down with Love. We saw a bit of it before. That's of Renee Zellweger, Ewan McGregor. It's a little bit like sort of 60s coded too. It's considered one of the most underrated rom-coms out there. How was it creating that world? It's almost Doris Day-esque.
That was a fun movie. I always loved those Doris Day Rock Hudson movies. I just loved them. And
the Pillow Talk and things like that.
Exactly, Pillow Talk, Love Her Come Back. And again, I read the script, and it was so specific about that world. And we got to build all these sort of phony 60s sets and do this whole thing and really lean into it. And it was one of the most fun times I've ever had directing a movie. And with that cast, it was one of the first big things Sarah Paulson was in. Yeah. Of course, Renee and Ewan, David Hyde Pierce. It was, again, a movie that's not a musical, but it's almost a musical. I think my first two movies bring it on, and they're quasi-musicals.
Is there one that you're most proud of? You say you had a lot of fun on that one. Is there one that you're most proud of?
I mean, I like them all for different reasons, I think. But, it's, again, with Bring It On, it's really gratifying that it's been 25 years, which is hard to say, 25 years.
Yeah.
But that people are still talking about it. I think that's, it's an unexpected thing. It's a delightful thing. So that one was also like, I was like a camp counselor on that movie. We were in San Diego, and they were all, Kirsten, I think, had just turned 17. It was a very young cast, and everybody was so psyched to be in a movie. And I was so psyched to be directing my first movie, and I think our energy sort of, coalesced and came across in the movie.
You directed a film about Brian Epstein and the Beatles. There's rumours that you might be doing a Monkees film. Is that true? Because I love the Monkees. Like, it was on TV when I was a kid still, and I'm obsessed with their music and obsessed with what happened behind the band. Is that something? Tell me that's true.
It is true, and I am a lifelong fan of the Monkees. And one of the great things about the Monkees is, they weren't a real band at first. They were cast for a TV show about a fictional band.
That's right.
But then they sort of became a real band. And their story, the story of the creation of the Monkees and the sort of journeys that all four of those guys went through is fantastic. We have a brilliant script, and I'm hopeful that's going to be the next one.
Great.
Are you still drumming?
I am still drumming, yeah.
Yeah, you still got your band?
Well, I play with a friend that I've made music with for many years. And it's a band called Cardinal Family Singers, and we get together every once in a while and play, and it's the best. And now my kids are playing music. I love it. We're a very musical family.
I love that.
Well, we just love having you here
Peyton,
in the
great.
country, but especially in our studio, Peyton. So
I
thank you
love
so
being
much
here.
for coming in.
Who else have you got coming in? Anybody else I know?
Yeah.
Yeah, stand by. Someone else is going to come in soon. Yeah, they always do.
We got heaps. They always just drop by around here. So nice to see you. Thanks for
Nice
coming
to see
in.
you both. Thank
and
you.
to see Peyton at the Brisbane Film Festival for a special screening of Bring It On, follow the link on your screen.